With ClickOrlando.com, this is News 6 Mornings at 6, getting results.
Now on the morning news, a young boy dead, a woman rushed to the hospital. We are live with the major questions this morning after a tragic discovery at a hotel.
Plus, a local high school football game canceled over coronavirus cases. Reaction from a coach who broke the news to his players.
And the Gulf Coast reeling from Hurricane Sally. What we learned overnight about severe damage extending into Florida. First, though, what's left of Sally set to bring more rain our way. Good Thursday morning, Central Florida. The time now 6 a.m. I'm Justin Wormuth.
I'm Kirsten O'Connor. Thanks for waking up with us.
I'm Bridget Ellison. Trooper Steve's off. Jonathan Kegas will have a look at your roads in just a second. But first, meteorologist Troy Bridges with your pinpoint accurate forecast. And this thing is still causing us to have rain chances even here.
Yeah, it's wrapping around, moving in our direction, streaming in from the Gulf of Mexico. We have these lines of rain, and that's all wrapping around this low. Of course, it's a tropical depression now. What was Sally continues to dump tons of rain on top of the Atlanta metro as it continues up to the northeast at about 15 miles per hour. We will see that wraparound moisture. Then you add a little heating from the afternoon sun and you fire up even more chances for storms. We also have what we call a strong pressure gradient today. So wind is definitely going to be kicking up. Look at this into the future. 2 p.m. winds are going to be at 26 miles per hour in Ocala, winds up to 22 miles per hour in Orlando. So throughout the day, winds up to 20 or 25 miles per hour. So breezy day. Temperatures right now in the upper 70s in most spots. We're headed to 85. No, we're not. Today's high 92. We're at 85 at 5. Why did I start with that number? 92 at 3 p.m. will be the afternoon high, and then we're headed to 85 at 5 o'clock with rain chances going up, and we'll talk more about the timing straight ahead. Let's check on the roads and head over to meteorologist Jonathan Kegas. His Pinpoint Traffic brought to you by Napleton Automotive.
Because you're excited for that Florida fall coming at the end of the 7-day forecast.
80s are on the way.
Things looking pretty good on the roads this morning. Here's a look at I-4 right around the US 92 ramp. Smooth sailing, hardly a car out there. Nice little semi that just drove by there. But otherwise, we are looking good in most spots this morning. Good morning in Ocala. We are doing okay on 75 through Reddick as well. Traffic alert for you here, though, as you move just to the east of Ocala. Stalled vehicle on County Road 314 at 114th. Keep that in mind, causing some slowdowns for you as you work to and from Ocala this morning, guys.
Developing this morning, Orange County deputies are working to figure out what happened to a child who died after being found unresponsive at an extended stay hotel. They were called to this scene after getting reports of a woman almost drowning in a nearby lake. It unfolded just before 5 p.m. last night at Key Suites off Orange Blossom Trail south of Holden Avenue. Our Justin Campbell is live at the sheriff's office this morning with more on this. And Justin, have deputies said what exactly happened to the child?
Bridget, they haven't so far. Orange County deputies found that little boy inside of a hotel room, unresponsive. What neighbors believe was his mother found across the street in a lake. I'll take you through exactly what happened. Unfortunately, that little boy did not make it after he was rushed to the hospital. Here's how all of this unfolded. Orange County deputies were originally called to Lake Tyler near Orange Blossom Trail and Holden Avenue in reference to a woman in her 20s drowning. Now, investigators tell News 6 people nearby pulled her out of the water, but a short time later, that little boy, whose neighbors say was her son, was discovered unresponsive. Now neighbors are trying to figure out just what led to all of this.
She got a loving family, bro. She got, like I'm telling you, like a family love her. Mom, dad, stepdad love her. I mean, they I don't know. That's kind of strange to me that this is a place we don't know what happened, but she has a loving family, man.
Now, as for the woman, deputies say she is expected to be okay, but we're trying to figure out exactly from deputies if the mother this was her child. That's something that neighbors have said, but we want to get that confirmed from deputies, and also how she ended up in that lake across the street. Those are a lot of unanswered questions, and why that child was left alone in that hotel room. As soon as we have those details, we'll give it to you. For now, we're live this morning here from the sheriff's office. Justin Campbell, getting results, News 6.
All right, Justin, thank you. And now to the latest push to keep coronavirus out of the classroom and off of the football field. Orange County has called off tonight's scheduled game between Evans and West Orange High Schools after 5 confirmed positive tests this week. Mark Lehman is live at Evans High for us this morning. And Mark, the district says no one showed any symptoms.
Yeah, according to the superintendent, all of the positive cases on the team here were asymptomatic, but with concerns over a potential outbreak, the decision was made to cancel tonight's football game. That's something that comes as the district is requiring testing for football players at every high school. The football field at Evans High School sat empty Wednesday, and it will remain that way for the near future.
We do believe it is wise not to have that competition. That team is actually going to be under quarantine.
Orange County Public Schools announcing tonight's game between Evans and West Orange High School will not be played after 5 people tested positive for COVID-19, something coming after the district's rapid testing for football players.
Right now, we've been, shut down for 14 days. Who knows what's going to happen when we come back.
Evans head football coach Vernon Mitchell says the news was expected, but also difficult to process.
It was tough to, let them know that was going to be the case. And, it was like the kids had their hearts snatched out of their chest.
And while the district says those who tested positive don't have symptoms, all football players, coaches, and trainers at Evans are now under quarantine. Meanwhile, 9 other games are set to play as scheduled tonight.
At the end of the day, your life and your well-being and your family's well-being is more important than football.
Now, the positive tests here come as 8 schools were tested yesterday, and 6 more are set to be tested today, including some that have games tonight. We'll keep you updated with those results. Meanwhile, we're hearing from a parent of a student from tonight's canceled game. We're going through that for our next report coming up at 6:30. Live in Orange County, Mark Lehman, getting results, News 6.
Mark, thank you. The debate over safety in Volusia County schools will once again be front and center today. The school board is set to hold a meeting over the impasse between the district and the teachers union. Both sides have been going back and forth for weeks, trying to come up with an agreement on working conditions during the pandemic. But those talks broke down last month. This meeting is going to be a little different, though, because for the first time in months, the public is being allowed inside. Capacity will be limited and masks will be mandatory. The meeting is set for 4 o'clock.
The CDC, meantime, is out with its plan on how it will distribute coronavirus vaccines, but there's a new debate this morning over just when they'll be widely available. The agency announced yesterday it's prepared to start shipments just 24 hours after a vaccine gets approved. The head of the CDC, though, testified yesterday it could be mid to late 2021 before vaccines are generally available to the public. The president, though, later said he's expecting it to happen much sooner.
We're not looking to say, gee, in 6 months we're going to start giving it to the general public. No, we want to go immediately. No, it was an incorrect statement. I saw the statement. I called him. I said, what did you mean by that? And I think he just made a mistake.
Either way, the first doses will be prioritized for healthcare workers and people at high risk of severe illness.
As for new cases of the virus, the health department reported another 2,300 yesterday statewide. 325 were from Central Florida. One important thing to note, though, the percentage of new patients testing positive was below 5% yesterday for the 5th day in a row. Hospitalizations across Florida also continue to drop and are now down more than 70% since July.
Right now, we're getting a better look at the catastrophic damage Hurricane Sally left behind along a stretch of the Gulf Coast. The Florida Panhandle is among the hardest hit areas, with the storm even causing part of a bridge to collapse. And today, Governor DeSantis is expected to see the destruction firsthand. Ezzy Castro is following the latest for us this morning. And Ezzy, the danger isn't over yet.
No, it's not, Kirsten. In fact, we know one person has died from a storm in Alabama and another person is missing. And in Florida, Governor DeSantis says thousands may need to evacuate within the next couple of days because of rising floodwaters in the Panhandle.
Looking at water of this nature, people should be very, very careful. It is hazardous. Do not try to go out in there.
Hurricane Sally causing widespread flooding in the Panhandle and the Gulf Coast after making landfall yesterday morning. Those floods devastated homes and businesses, leaving destruction for miles around in Gulf shores.
We started hearing all of our windows start to pop. Part of the roof started coming off and siding was ripping. We just rode it out.
A section of the Pensacola Bay Bridge gone. The governor says most of Northwest Florida is without power, and more evacuations could be underway as floodwaters continue to rise.
But even as that water subsides, which we think it probably will, the amount of rain that's being dumped to our north is going to impact places in the Northwest Florida. So you're going to have these rivers that are going to crest.
And the governor has now activated 500 Florida National Guard soldiers. He says nearly 600 search and rescue missions were conducted yesterday. In fact, rescue crews here in Central Florida are on the way to the Panhandle. We'll have that part of the story at 6:30. Kirsten.
Thank you, Hezzy. Happening today, SpaceX is set to launch another round of its Starlink internet satellites. Liftoff from Kennedy Space Center is scheduled for 2:19 this afternoon if weather holds up. Right now, conditions are 60% favorable. If the launch happens, we'll bring it to you live on News 6 and clickorlando.com.
And Troy, we'll need that rain to stay away from the Space Coast to get that rocket off the ground.
Right? Yeah, usually around 2 p.m. when we have the sea breezes fire up and we heat up the atmosphere, we get a few showers. Today, in addition to that, we're going to add in the moisture wrapping around what is left of Sally. And you can already see, we see in the Gulf of Mexico, lines of this rain that are pushing closer to Florida. They will be a player. Let's just hope right at 2:19, there's a window where it's dry at the launch site. We could see some heavy rain there, though. Here is the bus stop forecast. Make sure the kiddos do have ponchos in the backpacks. Not so much needing it this morning, but later this afternoon at 3 o'clock. We'll give the bus stop this afternoon a C, a high of 92 with a 60% coverage of rain. Now, coming up, we're going to talk more about this. We're pinpointing what will likely be the next named storm, which is Wilfred. Did you know that's the last name on the list? We'll talk more about that and what it could mean. It could likely move into the northern Gulf for the next few days. Let's first, though, check on the roads and head over to meteorologist Jonathan Kagis. His Pinpoint Traffic brought to you by Napleton Automotive.
Hey, good morning. Things looking pretty good still at this hour. Taking a live look at I-4 at Fairbanks Avenue this morning. We're having more cars out there as we get beyond the 6 o'clock hour, of course. Still no major incidents to report this morning. No big backups, no big slowdowns with you this morning. We were pinpointing that crash on the 417 right around Hunters Creek. That marker has gone away. The road is now back completely open. It just had the right lane blocked. But again, we are now seeing the green show back up. So all the slowdowns tied to that crash also going away. Looking pretty good on I-4 as we get into Osceola County as well through Celebration. Good morning. We are showing all green Campbell. We are showing nice, smooth sailing this morning on Highway 17, guys.
All right, looks good. Thank you, Jonathan. 6:11 coming up, a library worker beaten on the job.
But police now say the suspect did moments before the violent attack.
But first, thousands of Central Floridians will spend more time out of work. How long Universal now says it could take to bring all its employees back. You're watching News 6 Mornings. Here's a live look from the Orlando Health Camera. We'll be right back.
This morning's bus stop forecast is brought to you by Bogan Munz & Munz. Live with Bridget Ellison, Justin Warmoth, Kirsten O'Connor, meteorologist Troy Bridges, and your traffic safety expert, Trooper Steve. This is News 6 Mornings, getting results.
More major cuts this morning for Universal Orlando.
The company announced more than 5,000 of its employees won't return to work anytime soon.
In a notice to the state, Universal says furloughs for nearly 5,400 employees will be extended. The theme parks are dealing with sharp declines in visitors and revenue caused by the ongoing pandemic. While Universal says the furloughs will likely not be permanent, the company warns it could take until 2021 to recover from the downturn.
New details this morning in a violent attack at a Volusia County library that sent a worker to the hospital. We're hearing the 911 call from a man who tried to help the victim.
She hit her eye. She's bleeding really badly.
Daytona Beach police say Berman Bedford waved hello to the 63-year-old woman before stabbing her with scissors Tuesday. Paramedics rushed the victim to the hospital with injuries to her face and arms. Officers arrested Bedford after arriving at the scene. He's being held without bond.
Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood is defending his purchase of a new armored vehicle costing nearly $340,000. The vehicle marks the fourth one in the sheriff's office fleet. Critics argue the money should have gone toward programs to help underserved communities. Sheriff Chitwood, though, fired back, saying the extra vehicle is needed in case the federal government takes away some equipment, which happened in 2015.
If we own that vehicle, they can't take it away. So at the bare minimum, if this happens, I'll have 2 vehicles, which I can live comfortably with.
The fact that we do have these funds and they're reallocating them towards vehicles and weaponry and more police defense system, it's a slap in the face.
Other items approved for the sheriff's office include new guns, ammunition for training, and cameras. Now to an update gamers have been waiting months for.
We've learned exactly how much the all-new PlayStation 5 will cost.
Sony says the next generation video game console will sell for $499. The PS5 marks the first new PlayStation system since 2013. It's expected to go on sale November 12th, just 2 days after Microsoft's new Xbox system. Both consoles will retail for the same price.
They're beautiful works of art. I would
have
put it on
to
a
cut
shelf.
a lot of lawns
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
kid, or do weeds or whatever. I
You
mean,
can just
there's
imagine.
something around the house that I would have to do.
How many kids are out there doing that, having to
Yeah,
save
too.
up for that?
You know
thing?
what they're doing? They're all online because the pre-sales happened last night.
Oh, look at you.
So they're all letting their parents know, hey, guess what? I want this.
And the parents are like, oh, another one? I got to buy another one?
Make a deal.
Yeah, right? What? Yeah, you're going to do this every day. You're going to work and clean the house or whatever. Come up with those
Do
chores.
all your virtual homework.
Yeah, do that virtual homework for sure.
Always.
Yes. You know what? We're going to give the forecast today a C because we're talking about rain all circling around what is left of, I almost said Laura, Sally. Sally is a tropical depression with winds at 30 miles per hour. It is centered over southern Alabama, but we do see most of the moisture from it streaming into the Atlanta area. You can see that circulation there over Alabama, and then it's pushing moisture from the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic all up into Georgia. So we're going to see these lines of showers and even some thunder showers try to push in here throughout the day. Coming in waves, not raining all day, all the time, but expect a 60% coverage. Now, we're also going to have a lot of wind. Don't be caught off guard by this. An extra hairspray Aquanet kind of day because the winds are going to be gusting at times near 30 miles per hour. These are the winds into the future. We stop the clock at 2 p.m. Many areas seeing winds close to 20 to 25 miles per hour and gusting even greater. So again, a windy day, a windy evening. Don't forget that. Now, we are pinpointing the tropics near the Bay of Campeche, trying to move into the northern Gulf of Mexico eventually. This has a 90% chance of development within the next 2 days. It could get the name Wilfred, which is the last name on the list. Today, getting up to 92 with a 60% coverage of those afternoon storms, mainly after we heat up the atmosphere. Near 80 in many spots, the upper 70s at least as you head out the door in the next couple of minutes. But here's a look at the pinpoint accurate forecast.
Your forecast brought to you by Del Air Heating and Air Conditioning.
So rain chances coming into play at 60%, mainly after 2 and lingering through 6 p.m. 92 will be the high, which is 2 degrees above the average for this time of year. Rain chances tapering off to 20% after 8. So let's show it to you as we show you the clouds and rain forecast, the future radar. All that rain coming in from the Gulf of Mexico, coming in as it circles around Sally, which will be in Georgia today, and you see more of that coming in waves. There's 5:30 this afternoon. Notice it's not all that widespread, not covering the whole state, but we have a scattering of those showers and heavier downpours, even some thunder and lightning through the afternoon and early evening in many spots. 89 will be the high today in Daytona Beach, 90 in Leesburg, only getting up to 87 in Ocala. But here's your 7-day forecast, and the 80s are returning for most of Central Florida next week as we usher in fall. Even this weekend, a high of 89 on Saturday, 86 Sunday, 85 on Monday, and fall on Tuesday with a high of 86. Let's check on the roads now and head over to meteorologist Jonathan Kegas. This Pinpoint Traffic brought to you by Napleton Automotive. Hopefully no trouble. It's getting later in the day.
So far, so good. We're still doing pretty good, relatively speaking anyway. Here's a live look at I-4 for you this morning. Right around the 528 this morning. Extra cars out there. We are still doing good. No major incidents on I-4 this morning. We are pinpointing a new crash here. This on Conway Road at Crescent Park Boulevard. You see the slowdowns associated with that, so just keep that in mind if you're heading in that direction. Just off of the 528 there, that there are those slowdowns as you head towards the 528. If you're coming from, say, Judge Road this morning, keep that in mind that there are those slowdowns starting to pile up. We're looking good on the 441 through Apopka. We had that earlier crash that has way been cleared. We are looking good there. Good continuing through Zellwood and Tangerine this morning, guys.
Thanks, Jonathan. New details on a deadly fall at a local attraction.
Bottom of the hour, what a man told deputies about his co-worker who died on the job.
First, though, dealing with growth on a stretch of I-4. Up next, neighbors weigh in on a project to ease traffic. New details this morning on a planned I-4 project near the attractions. We're hearing comments from the people living nearby shared with state transportation leaders. Now, these renderings from FDOT show the proposal to reconfigure the interchange at I-4 and County Road 532 in the Champions Gate area of Osceola County. Plans include adding an auxiliary lane going in each direction of I-4, allowing drivers to merge into traffic. Workers would also resurface I-4 from the Polk County line to the 417 near Disney World.
I'm concerned regarding the disruption that there will be in terms of traffic and being able to get in and out of the area once this work begins.
Improvements are badly needed, so while it may be inconvenient, we should all look forward to this.
The project would cost about $34 million with construction starting next spring. The work is expected to take up to 2 years to finish.
We're several weeks away from changing the clocks and falling back, but Florida Senators Marco Rubio and Rick Scott are renewing their push to keep daylight saving time a while longer. The pair introduced a bill that would suspend time changes until November 2021. The senators say the bill would provide extra stability for Americans during the pandemic. As of now, standard time is scheduled to return November 1st.
It was an exciting night for country music fans. You saw last night's Academy of Country Music Awards live right here on News 6. The award for Male Artist of the Year went to Luke Combs, while Maren Morris won Female Artist of the Year. And for Entertainer of the Year, it was a tie. Thomas Rhett and Carrie Underwood both took home hardware. This year's show was held at 3 different venues in Nashville to help with social distancing. I believe Justin's favorite singer was out there, too.
You better believe it.
She
Taylor Swift.
She had a sequin turtleneck on last night.
She was singing Betty, right?
That's right. She was looking fab.
Still to come, a football game set for tonight won't be played.
Why a local district is keeping 2 high school teams off the field.
Plus, a tragic discovery at a local hotel. Questions deputies are working to answer after the death of a child.
Hurricane Sally causing destruction in parts of Florida and beyond, why thousands of people could face more problems in the coming days.